And of the Friday Night Pro Traveling League.
And as mentioned, Ed rolled a 661 in the roll-off to earn the number 4 seed. It's a North Shore battle. Lynn and Saugus, Morgan and Woodside. When we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV right after this. We have 5 great bowlers who you'll be seeing over the course of the next 4 weeks vying for a spot in our Tournament of Champions. At the end of the season, our number 5 seed Mike Morgan, number 4 seed Ed Woodside, Sean Baker's at number 3, Anthony Pastore at number 2, and Gary Carrington is the top seed waiting in the wings. Our first match this afternoon featuring Mike Morgan and Ed Woodside, with Mike Morgan the first to bowl here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, and we are ready to go with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Mike, one of the crowd favorites annually on WNDS TV, and a great performer over the years.
And there's also a little extra energy in the air today because as we tape this, just 2 days after the Patriots win their second Super Bowl in 3 years, so everybody's really in a good mood.
Mike starts off with the 4 horsemen converted for a spare in frame 1. We've got tons of emails and cards and letters to get to over the course of the next 4 weeks. We'll get to as many as we can. We really appreciate hearing from you. Even when it's a criticism.
Mike going just a little bit too high on the 3-pin. Wanted to catch a little bit more of the 6 to get that wood to snap over to the 7, which didn't happen.
And a 9-box for Mike Morgan. He's the number 5 seed, the number 4 seed, Ed Woodside from Saugus, Massachusetts. Another veteran of the television wars. This is his 10th appearance on television. Ed bowls at Central Park Lanes in East Boston. Broke bowls on the Friday Night Pro League. He's been bowling for 33 of his 44 years. Look at that for a spare.
The number 4 seed is the most difficult spot to come from, at least statistically, to win a ladder series, which, by the way, nobody has done, even though 4th and 5th essentially are the same because they have to bowl the same number of games to get to the final match. Nobody's ever done it from the number 4 spot. Perhaps this will be the series.
And look at that
What was
for
that?
A strike. And here's Ed Woodside playing to the crowd. He was as surprised as everyone else.
Didn't come close to the headpin. Look at this. Way off on the left.
6 pins still standing right there. You have the 4 horsemen on the right side. The 7 and the 8. And, oh, look at this. Mike Morgan answers.
Well, for a triple strike, the jackpot is now at $600 should any of our bowlers do that this week.
And a spare for Mike Morgan. An old friend from Worcester is here today, Mike. Zach McCabe, who was a friend of the family for years and years in Worcester, here with his daughter and grandson. And he's just an old-time bowling fanatic. And he told me he bumped into one of the all-time great bowlers in Worcester. We've mentioned him on the show before, Rolly Blondin, who was annually one of the greats in Worcester bowling when bowling was at its peak in Worcester. And asked Rolly Blondin who the best Candlepin bowler he ever saw was, and Rolly's answer was Tom Ulster. Tom Ulster, of course, with his great record on television in the past on Channel 5 and this show, one of the all-time greats.
We've only seen Tom Ulster a handful of times on our show in the last 7 seasons that you and I have been doing it. It's always a treat when Tom Ulster does make it. Nice man.
Ed Woodside works on a double mark, looking for bonus money. Tough shot here. Will that pin take it? No, it'll go by it. This is a tough shot. This is the 4, 6, 7. With some wood. And it goes. The ball came back to take it. That's a $50 shot. 3 marks in a row for Ed Woodside. Watch the ball. Keep your eyes on the ball. Here comes the ball back off the wall to take the pin. How about that?
He's been lucky, hasn't he, in 2 out of his 3 boxes so far? But that's all right, because a lot of times you don't get the luck that you do deserve.
He's 4 for 4 for marks for Ed Woodside. Spare, strike, spare, strike. That one was a pretty clean one.
He's getting amazing action with his ball.
Sure is.
More than I can remember in past appearances.
He's got $75 in bonus money already. Mike Morgan has 2 marks and 4 boxes, and he's falling behind.
Yeah, 52 through 4. And a difficult spare.
And the pin was angled not to Mike's benefit. And he'll take a 9-box. 61.5 for Mike.
Yeah, he didn't want that one to fall, does he? Wants the 6-pin to stay up, making it an easier spare. 6, 9, 10.
Will he get it on the rebound? It will, and Mike's happy about that one. Mike has a big smile on his face as he comes back. So both bowlers are getting the breaks here in the first string. And here's Ed Woodside. He's perfect through 4. 2 spares, 2 strikes. And a great first string going. Missed the head pin, but got great action again. And good wood to set up this for a possible spare for Ed Woodside. Can he make it 5 marks in a row? On the head pin, he's got it. Ed Woodside is on fire. 5 marks in a row to start the first string.
I can't remember the last time anybody had 100 at the half. He'll need a strike to do that.
He's got a shot at it right on the head pin. Still got a shot at it. It's a 99.5.
And he was halfway to what a 10-pin bowler calls a Dutch 200 when you alternate strikes and spares.
And another mark. 6 marks in a row for Ed Woodside.
And a 38-pin lead over Mike Morgan, just 6 boxes into our 3-game set.
$125 in bonus money already. Mike leaves the 7-10.
You know, Mike's not bowling so badly, but he's getting hammered here.
Almost. You saw the ball come back again. He'll be open. And the way Ed Woodside's bowling, you can't afford too many open frames. That'll be a 10-box.
Mike's wife is named Kathy. They've been together 20 years, been married 20 years, and their son Mike is 18. Mike enjoys golfing and lots of athletic activities, a little softball with his workmates from time to time. 58 appearances. This is number 59 on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Ooh, he picked the 6 off the 10. So there's an opportunity missed for Mike Morgan. And he'll take a 10-box. 99 through 8. Ed Woodside. 6 marks in a row to start out. There it is.
His high string, by the way, Dick, is 189. Not out of the question that he could. Well,
missed the head pin.
Now it gets difficult.
Just 4. He puts 4 in the mark. Tough shot here. An open frame for Ed Woodside. And his run of marks will end at 6. And a 7-box. 120 through 7. That's a good pocket shot. That didn't take long, did it?
That was quick. Wow.
So after an open frame, a strike for Ed Woodside. Now Mike Morgan. On lane 34, Lita Lanes missed the head pin. Got the 1, the 2, and the 10. Mike will be open in the 9th. A rapidly played first string. And a 10 box. 109. He's only left 1 pin standing. No, 2 pins standing. He has 2 9 boxes. Crossing over to the Brooklyn side. And there they go. They continue to fall. The pins here are juiced today.
Seem to be, huh? Only the 3 pin remains.
And he's waiting for the wood to settle. Plays the wood and makes the spare. 119 plus a ball in the first string.
Needs 7 pins to hit his average, Dick, which is 126.
He's going to be way behind. Good first ball, puts 6 in it. 125 first string for Mike Morgan. Ed Woodside is already at 130 plus a couple of balls in the 8th frame, working on a strike. Missed the head pin. Still has another ball to fill the strike. The 1, the 3, the 6, and the 8. With a piece of wood that might help him out. Missed the head pin and got the spare. It's been that kind of a string for Ed Woodside. A sheepish grin as he turns back to the crowd. I think he's embarrassed about that one.
Yeah, he kind of gave Mike a funny look like, I don't know, man, what's going on?
Missed the head pin there. Put 6 in the spare.
He's got a shot at a 170 plus game if he can make this spare.
Not going to make it, though. He's at 165. A 166 first string for Ed Woodside, and a 41-pin lead over Mike Morgan, headed for string number 2 as we come back to Lita Lanes in Nashua. For Candlepin Stars and Strikes, you are watching WNDS-TV. Ed Woodside will be first to bowl in string number 2. He had a 166 in the first string to Mike Morgan's 125 as we start out. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin at Lita Lanes in Nashua. The production manager for Candlepin Stars and Strikes is Rob Fay. Here's Ed Woodside trying to pick up where he left off. He had 8 marks in the first string. Kevin LaFon's our director today. Alex Kalyastoff's on audio. Keith Webb's our engineer. Jonathan Barraza handling replay. Sean Homan, Eric Angra, and Brett Bossy, the cameramen, working here today at Lita Lanes, making it possible for you to watch the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world each and every week on WNDS-TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. No one got away from Ed, but he still got a break and put 6 in the mark.
Doesn't matter where he puts it today, does it?
He's getting everything.
Sure is. He's married to Denise 17 years. Son Michael is 14 and Lauren 11. Ed Woodside is 44 years of age.
Missed the spare there.
He hit our triple strike jackpot in 2000 for $525, so he's had a good couple of paydays here as well on Stars and Strikes.
I want to acknowledge an email we received from Michael Leahy of Newton, Massachusetts. Mr. Leahy wrote us a well thought out email. He was critical of a remark that was made by me in our broadcast that aired on the 1st of February, and labeling it sarcastic and cynical. And I will label it as somewhat insensitive and inappropriate, and apologize to Mr. Leahy for that remark, and appreciate the fact that you called it to our attention, and hope you continue to watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS-TV.
Mike Morgan. Mike can respond to pressure. Mike loves that stuff. He eats it right up.
It's like Gary Carrington. There's a handful of these bowlers that get better when the noose gets tighter. But, well, that was just a badly thrown ball. He'll be the first to admit that, I'm sure. But he gets 3 pins back of the 40 when he came behind starting out. I missed what he said.
I did too.
We've put a microphone up on the scorer's table where the bowlers sit, hoping that we might catch some of those nuggets. But we don't always get everything.
Ed Woodside. That piece of wood in the front is somewhat problematic.
Only choice is to cap it, I guess.
He's got to cap it. If he caps it, he's got the shot. And see, that was the problem. He had to cap it, and he got it on the side and knocked it away. $9. 2 open frames in a row for Ed Woodside. What's gone wrong?
Seems to happen frequently, though. One big game, and then you just can't get back on track. But Ed must have done something with this game, because, Dick, he's recently hit the 500 area, which very few of our bowlers have ever done. 501 triple here in the last year or so.
Ooh. So he's not getting the breaks.
No.
3 open frames in a row for Ed Woodside. Let's see if Mike Morgan can take advantage.
Mike Morgan is one of the bowlers you'll see and meet at the 11th annual Rock and Bowl coming up in a couple of weeks, Sunday, February 29th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Pilgrim Lanes. It's a fundraiser for the kids. Many of them that go to Canada for an international tournament at the end of March. Dick Lutzk and yours truly will be there hosting. We'll have our annual grudge match, but you'll get to meet and bowl with Mike Morgan, Babe Carrington, Bart Medeiros, Joe Tavernese, and the list goes on and on. That's February 29th, leap year day at 9 at Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill.
Mike Morgan starts his march back with a spare in the 3rd frame. Up against another open in the 4th. He can pick up some more ground.
And a nice fill for Mike Morgan. This actually could have been 4 marks in a row, but he had a tough time with the 10 pin in the 2nd frame and missed it. But he's now getting some of those pins back.
As Mike Morgan rising to the occasion, he's working on a double mark as we go to the break. When we come back, it'll be Ed Woodside bowling at Leda Lanes in Nashua as you watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Woodside stands on lane 34 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, ready to bowl. He's up against a couple of marks now that Mike Morgan put on the board. As Mike tries to chip away.
Almost.
41 pin lead that Ed Woodside had after the 1st string. And there's a mark for Ed Woodside. He responds well.
We saw Ed almost exactly a year ago. He was the number 4 seed and was on for only 1 week, beaten by his good friend Joe Stella, 401 to 357. That was on February 16th last year.
Some of the emails that we get are not signed. They only have screen names on them, even when they're well thought out and well written and have all sorts of great things to say. So it's hard to give credit to the person who wrote them without reading their email address, which I'm not sure they want us to do.
Sure.
And some suggestions are terrific. Dan is the only way this one is signed, and Dan has a whole bunch of different suggestions in his email, and we appreciate hearing from you with that. Some people have very creative ideas on ways to improve the show, enhance the production and the presentation.
Well, I'm glad we're past the part where everybody was suggesting we wear golf shirts.
That's not going to happen.
We tape through the very cold months, and it's nice to have some extra clothing on during the chilly months of the year.
Well, there's also an element of the presentation that we want to maintain that has been the history of Candlepin bowling over the years. We try to maintain that image. Mike Morgan with another one. A 10 bucks.
The old spread eagle. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 with some wood between the 6 and the 10. They'll go to the left probably. Thought for sure the 3-pin was going to go down with that piece of wood coming forward, but that's the only pin that remains. That was a great try. Well, Dick, he's cut the margin of deficit in half in 6 boxes.
I'm sure he'd be happy to do that and then go at him in the 3rd string, add a little bit more, take a little bit more off the deficit in this string, and then make the charge. See how Ed Woodside responds. He responds pretty well. Ed's been at this game a while. He's faced all sorts of challenges. Another great strike by Ed Woodside.
You're right. He's been bowling 33 of his 44 years.
Another one of those crazy shots that missed the head pin, but he got pretty good action. And he's got a pretty good opportunity here. That wood to the right, which is rolling away. I'm not sure if he plays it. I think he does.
Yeah, with the sweeping motion.
Yep. He's going after it. Missed it. He didn't quite get the wood on the angle that he wanted. And that'll be a 9 box for Ed Woodside. He's at 91 through 8. Just a tad off his pace of 166 in the 1st string.
Saw Mike Morgan last during the Candlepin mixed doubles competition not too long ago. In fact, it was about 5 weeks ago. He was paired up with Cindy Cawley, but they were beaten by Chris Sargent and Debbie Scannell back in January in the mixed doubles competition.
And the spare for Mike Morgan.
As we mentioned, his 212 single is the highest on record for the WCBC, which is the organization that has the professional bowlers with regular tournaments 6 times a year. Highest ever.
There's Mike with a strike. Think the adrenaline's flowing a little bit? Watch it in the 1-3 pocket. There they go.
Closing the gap now with 2 consecutive marks. Ed Woodside up in the 9th box, working on an open.
You can just feel the adrenaline flowing. It is to Ed Woodside right on the head pin. Breaks up the spread eagle, but still a tough shot. Nope, he's going to be open. We've received many emails requesting information about a lovely lady who's been attending Candlepin bowling for many, many years. Many of you know her as Irene, and we are assured that Irene is well. Her health is fine. She's just not been able to attend the last couple of tapings, and we hope to see her in the future. Those of you who've been watching the show for years know exactly who we're talking about. She's hard to miss, usually in the front row, but hasn't been here for the last couple of tapings, is not here today. Ed Woodside missed.
Striking is the word that a lot of people use to describe her. The beautiful white hair and lovely face.
10 box for Ed. And a 109.
Well, you wouldn't call that a crash and burn, but it's a bit of a come down after a 166 string.
Just the nature of Candlepin bowling. We've talked about it so many times in the past. We've seen it happen so many times. Here's Mike. He threw a pretty good ball and didn't get a good result. He was disappointed. Still working on a strike. Another ball to go. Put 7 in the mark.
Yeah, regardless, it will be a much closer match than it earlier appeared to be.
7 box there doesn't help him. 125. He could use a mark here to really tighten it up. Threw a pretty good first ball onto the Brooklyn side. He's got a makeable shot here now. Not easy, but makeable. The 3-5-10. Got a shot at it. Ooh, he missed it. I thought he was going to make it when it left his hand.
Probably had a better shot going a little bit more to the right, deflecting the 3 over to the 10 because of that piece of wood.
10 box, 135 for Mike Morgan. He wins the game by 26. Ed Woodside leads the match by 15 pins, headed to the third and final string when we return to Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Mike Morgan will be first to bowl on lane 34 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. He trails Ed Woodside by 15 pins. Headed to the third and final string. A 166 in the first string for Ed Woodside to Mike Morgan's 125. Morgan a 135 in the second string to Woodside's 109. And Mike Morgan starts off with a good pocket shot and doesn't get much to show for it. That's the 410 with a lot of wood on the deck.
Wanted to mention that as we tape this February 3rd, this would have been the birthday.
There's Mike Morgan with the ball coming back to take the 10-pin.
This would have been the birthday of Mike's mother, who passed away not long after brother Tom Morgan did, about a year and a half ago, and his mother passed away shortly thereafter. So we wanted to mention that.
Watch the ball. Keep your eyes on the ball. There it comes back to take the spare. Mike right on the head pin, spread eagle.
Disappointing after the big beautiful split conversion.
Mike's putting on a good show for the fans here. He's a lot of body English, a lot of body gestures after the shot. Very animated, very alive, and a lot of fun to watch. And that's a great 10 box for Mike coming out of the spread eagle. Sally Catanzaro of Bradford, Massachusetts. Has there ever been a televised recorded score of a perfect 100 string by bowling a 10 in every box? There's Ed Woodside starting off with a strike. That's one of several questions that Sally asked.
Dick, you know, not since we've been doing the games for almost 7 years. I'm sure I would have remembered it
somewhere along the way. It must have been.
Oh yeah, it's unusual, but we haven't seen it.
Ed Woodside, a little thin on the head pin, but a good drop. Question 2 from Sally Catanzaro. I know there have been 4 strikes in a row, but has any bowler bowled 5 or 6 strikes in a televised match?
Yeah, not since we've been doing the show. We've not seen more than 3, maybe 4.
Whatever happened to Billy Acree? He was a bowler for many weeks on the old Channel 27 bowling show and was a winner for quite a number of weeks. Do we know the answer to that? We do not. 9 box for Ed Woodside after the strike. And has there ever been a children's bowling show other than the old 10-pin show for children on the air? This is a great sport to get children involved in.
The answer is yes, there was. I know Marianne Kelly, for one, professional bowler, was on that. And lots of other people who you've seen on our show at one time may have bowled on the kids show, which didn't last all that many years. I was not in town at the time, but many have told me about it.
That's from Sally Catanzaro of Bradford, Massachusetts, right outside of Haverhill. Sally, thank you very much.
Yeah, good questions.
For your email. That's a 9 box for Mike Morgan.
Well, time is running out for Mike Morgan, who closed the gap starting this third and final string. Ed Woodside adding to it, though, through another 4 pins.
Right through the middle, spread eagle +1. Got the 8-pin in the back row as a sleeper. Just takes 1 on the right side. Tough box for Mike Morgan as he waits for one of his balls to return.
Mike was the WCBC Bowler of the Year in 1998 and 99, and with a pinfall total that year of 68.55. That is the second best pinfall, only to Al Johnson, who had 68.93 just a couple years before that. So he's had some great scores, including a 212 high single.
8 box for Mike Morgan as he did the best he could with that situation. Now Ed Woodside, Ed's trying to add some distance. Came into the string with a 15-pin lead, has added 4 to that. and he's got a tough shot coming here. That's the 3 and the 6 on the right, the 4 on the left. No wood to help out. Will he get it on the ricochet? He will not. Open frame for Ed Woodside. But he adds a pin. So make it a 20-pin lead through completed boxes. On lane 33. Caught the head pin on the Brooklyn side. A spare opportunity here for Ed Woodside with 3-5-6. Not going to get it. Missed the object pin, the 3-pin. Open frame for Ed Woodside. A chance to add a couple of pins, though, to his lead. And he will. It'll be a 22-pin lead for Ed Woodside as we go to the break with 6 boxes remaining. Ed leads Mike Morgan heading down the home stretch. We're coming back for the finale when we return to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS-TV. Mike Morgan trails Ed Woodside by 22 pins with 6 boxes remaining. Mike ready to bowl on lane 34 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. And he throws a great ball and gets a strike. You see the big crowd behind us cheering him on. Watch it again. A great pocket shot right in the 1-3 pocket. The 5-pin a little bit reluctant, but finally coaxed. That time he crossed over to the Brooklyn side. Thin hit. Tough shot here. 3-7-9. Very odd leave.
Yeah, and with some wood that he's got to use. He can't ignore it.
3-7-9. Wood in the middle. Nope. That'll be a 10 box. Now Ed Woodside needs a mark to maintain that 22-pin lead. If he does not, we're down to about a 12-15-pin lead.
Plenty of time left. He's a sales associate at Macy's, downtown Boston, been doing that for a number of years.
That's a pretty good response by Ed Woodside right there, isn't it? Right in the pocket on the Brooklyn side, and again the 5-pin was the last to go, as is so often the case, but it toppled. Again onto the Brooklyn side, a little thin, but a great hit. Almost the same shot that Mike Morgan had with the 3 and the 7. There's no 9-pin behind it, and this time he makes the spare. Great clutch bowling by Ed Woodside, responding to the challenge from Mike Morgan, and a cushion now for Woodside. He's in pretty good shape. Mike let that one get away. Bounced a couple of times. Half Worcester on the left side. Mike will be open in the 7th frame. With an 8 box.
Fifth and 6th frame seem to be the turning point in this match, as it looked as though Mike might close in, and Ed Woodside put a strike and a spare together, and suddenly Mike Morgan is throwing splits. Looked pretty good. 10-pin remains. It was the 5, 6, and 10.
Box for Mike, running out of frames here now. I want to acknowledge an email from Kurt Levesque in Deerfield, New Hampshire. Thank you, Kurt, for writing in. Nice to hear from you. And keep on watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS-TV as Ed Woodside tries to put the pedal to the metal here.
Seems to have the same kind of pin action now that he had in the first string when he was just knocking everything over in sight.
Just missed it.
But he has missed a few easy spare leaves today.
Missed it again the same way. He takes a 9 box.
Match pretty well in hand for Ed Woodside, barring a total collapse and a big strikeout by Mike Morgan.
That's a pretty good ball by Ed Woodside right there. He was very confident of that when he started turning. As soon as the ball hit the head pin, he knew he had the strike. That was a great ball by Ed Woodside, and that should just about do it. So Ed Woodside holds off the challenge of Mike Morgan. Mike with a spare in the 9th. Look at that for a quality. That hit the head pin. He's got the back row still standing. How do you hit the head pin and still have the back row still standing? That's impossible. The 7, 8, 9, 10 with Wood.
That would have been a shot to see.
It sure would have. A 113 third string from Mike Morgan, a 3-string total of 373. And Ed Woodside will advance.
Ed Woodside will be well over 400.
Another mark.
Yeah, he's found his stride. He lost it in the second box with a 109 game, and he's back. Going to be over 140, 150. Well, we have to rethink this now with only a 3-pin fill on a spare.
Watch out. The way things have been going, he might make it. Doesn't need it. .137, third string for Ed Woodside. 3-string total, 412. He beats Mike Morgan by 39 pins. We're back to talk to the bowlers right after this on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Ed Woodside defeats Mike Morgan. The final score 412 to 373. And Mike Morgan is here. We'll do the bookkeeping first. $200 for runner-up. We're not accustomed to handing you the runner-up check very often like that. But when you look up at 6 marks on the board and you're down a few pins right off the bat, you gotta find a way to climb out of the hole. It's not easy.
Well, one thing, you have like 24 boxes to try to run. I mean, Eddie really hit through a great ball. Give Eddie a lot of credit. His ball was working on the head, but he was throwing 9s and strikes. And when he missed it, his ball was live. My ball's been flat. I don't know if it's I press on marks or whatever, but lately the game just really hasn't been fun, and I'm pressing. It's just not fun when you're doing that. I mean, I don't want Eddie to a Super Bowl. I probably wasn't going to beat Eddie anyway, but inside I'm like, I'm torn up right now.
Well, bowling is a game of highs and lows. You have streaks. You have good peaks and valleys. What do you do in your experience over the years? What do you do when you hit a rut and try to get out of it?
Well, usually it don't last that long, but this one here, I mean, I qualified for the show, but I've been on about a month, like, down mentally. And you expect bad things to happen, and then when they do, you say, oh. But until something good happens or you make your own break, it's going to keep like that. So it's all me. It's not the game. It's just I got to dig in a little more, you know.
Well, something that is fun is the annual Rock and Bowl tournament. Well, actually, it's not a tournament. It's a fundraiser for the kids going to Canada at the Pilgrim Lanes in a couple of weeks. You've been a part of it as long as it's been going, as have I, and I know that just watching you guys, it's always a fun time to meet the fans and bowl with the kids.
It is. It's a big day for the kids. They really enjoy it, and, you know, Bart does a great job with the kids, and that's the future of the game. So I look forward to it every year. When I get there, I'll be smiling again, but right now it's hard to really smile, but, hey, it's worse things in life than bowling bad, but right now I'm in a little funk, that's all.
All right, well, we'll see you on the 29th at Pilgrim Lanes and perhaps next month.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'll give it a shot.
One of the great ambassadors of the game, Mike Morgan, runner-up here this afternoon. And now we'll go to the bonus ball contest. Mike will draw a card out first, and we'll try to get Ed Woodside up on lane 34. And we'll try to match him up with a winner at home. Is lane 33, I guess. And it is Bessie Evangelist from Marlborough, Massachusetts. Bessie wants you to get a 7, Ed.
$70.
She wants you to get a 7. There's $70 in cash Go for it. We're looking to get a 7 here in the bonus ball contest from Ed Woodside. If he can do it, then Bessie Evangelist will win $70, and it is a 7. There it is right there. So we've got a winner, and we've got $70 to give to Bessie Evangelist from Marlborough, Massachusetts. It's been that kind of a day for you with the way your ball was working, and to get a 7 for Bessie, things are falling into place.
Yeah, when you open up with whatever 5 or 6 in a row, it's just...
It was 6.
Fun from there, you know, you just keep throwing it.
What's going through your mind when you're seeing making shots? You were giving a sheepish grin every once in a while when some illogical things were happening and you were making shots that just didn't look like they were going to happen, and the pins were falling. What's going through your mind?
Well, the first shot, I had the 3 and 2. I missed the head pin and I made it. Then the next one, the backdoor strike, that just set the tone. That was like, you know, your whole spirit goes up. It's like you can't do anything wrong. So that's what I went with.
All right, so what's going on? I mean, you're throwing more stuff on the ball than I've seen in a while. You had a 500 triple recently. Is there something you've done to improve your game? Is it more working out? What is going on with Ed Woodside?
I don't think so. It's just one of those years that just, you know, everything's just going right now.
Well, you know, coming from the number 4 seed is one of the most difficult things to do to get a championship ladder. So you've still got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, at least 7 or 8 people told me it's never happened, I guess. I didn't know that. But, you know, history,
wrong.
Yeah, history is made to be broken, so let's do it.
Hey, congratulations. We'll see you next week. Ed Woodside,
there you go.
Our winner here this afternoon. $125 in bonus money, another $50 for having the high string in the match. So $175 total bonus money for Ed Woodside, and up the ladder we go.
We're going to see Sean Baker next week, and had it not been for a 187 final string in the qualifying round a couple of weeks ago, you wouldn't see him. But he had 187 to come from 21st place to number 3.
Wow, what a finish. And he's a great bowler, and you've seen him before, and we're looking for an exciting match next week as Ed Woodside climbs the ladder to take on Sean Baker. That'll do it from Leda Lanes in Nashua. For Mike Morton and our entire crew, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Remember, get the gang together, and let's go bowling. So long, everybody.